Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact
the
Radio.
truth.
We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back from the weekend. Glad you could be here. Hope you had a good time. Did you get a chance to watch some of those movies and catch up with some of the information? I hope you did. There was a lot there, and I'll talk about some of it as we go throughout the show. Let's get on with things for today. Okay, today is the 7th of April. So we have a couple of things we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a sun sign of Aries, and we are dealing with a moon sign of Cancer. So the sun sign Aries is fire. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the elements behind the sign. So we have fire for Aries. Fire represents ideas. Cancer is a water sign. Water represents love. So we have ideas and love, or you can also say emotions, because there's a lot of things within the water. When you think about elements, you want to think about how these elements move. Some elements are stable, some move around. And this gives us an idea of what these energies are about. Fire. Think of how fire operates. If you light a candle, the fire will be stationary unless something acts upon it. If air acts upon it, it will blow the fire around. If water acts upon it, it will put the fire out. And if earth acts upon it, the earth could be lit on fire. Or the opposite can go in these effects. Fire could mix with air in such a way that the air becomes warm. Or fire could mix with water, in which the water becomes warm. Or the earth itself can be warm. So we have all of these different ways that we can look at these energies. But if we look at them and go to the idea of ideas and love and words and form, and we apply these principles, we will come to a different understanding. So today we are dealing with ideas and emotions. Okay? When we allow the emotion of love to be the emotion that we bring forth, it trumps all of the other emotions. For all of the other emotions are comprised within the idea and the emotion of love. So we take the ideas, and with the Aries being the conscious symbol, our conscious mind focus at this point in time, according to this structure that we have set up that we're looking at here, we are dealing with ideas. Ideas that need to be brought forth. The Aries ideas are all about leadership. They're the first sign of the zodiac, so they imply the beginning, pioneering effort. There's a letter attached to it, a Hebrew word attached to it, he, which means he who sets in order. So Aries is also about putting things in order, that we might be able to have, through better organization, a system that helps us to understand what is going on. With the Cancerian energies of today, the water and the emotions underneath the surface, that there can be a lot of different ways in which this water these ideas are dealt with. We know how it is when we have emotions. Sometimes it can be very upsetting. And these emotions can often take us away from the ideas we have in mind, because when we have an emotion, sometimes we can become so overwhelmed and swept up in that emotion that that is all that we are able to focus on. So we want to be able to always try to find a balance between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. That way we stay balanced in life, and the way that we are operating, we can move smoothly through life. So today we have these energies of Cancer, underlying, and the moon, or the sun, the conscious mind, fire. Think of how those two operate, and as you go throughout the day, just contemplate those ideas. And as you go through the day and you continue to contemplate these ideas, you will become more understanding of what they represent. We look here, we see we have a couple of squares, which are lessons that we need to be dealing with. And then we also have a trine, which is a nice, good, positive energy. So the first square that we're dealing with is something that happened earlier today. It's a transit that occurred between the sun sign, or conscious mind, and the moon sign, or unconscious mind. In this case, Aries and Cancer. Ideas and emotions. And these ideas and emotions, as we can see with the square, are dealing with something that is a lesson that we need to get past, some sort of blockage that is in our way. So as we go through the course of the day, we're going to be looking and dealing with these particular ways of moving past the blockages that we have when it comes to our ideas and our emotions. How are our emotions fueling our ideas? Are they fueling them in a way that we want because the emotions are emotions of love? Or are they emotions of fear that are fueling those ideas in a whole different way? We need to consider these ideas, consider these ways in which we are expressing. And then we could also see that we are about in the midst of another transit. This is a transit between our moon sign, Cancer, and Mars. Mars is the ruling planet over Aries. Mars is called the planet at times of war because when this energy, this Mars energy, is not fully expressed, it can become bottled up, and therefore in the bottled up phase becomes warlike and or aggressive. If we allow that energy to flow properly, it becomes creative. In this case, we see that we have a block, a square, between our emotions and our energy. And so we need to find a way to be able to really release this energy in a way through our emotions, to allow these ideas to express themselves through our emotions, and find a way to find that balance, to look at that lesson and get through it. So as we go through the course of the day, again, this is something else. So we're looking at Aries, and we're looking at energy, and we're looking to channel it properly. And all of this today with this emotional energy we're dealing with. A little bit later today, we see we have a aspect that's taking place in which we have Mercury is entering Aries. Mercury is communication, so communication is entering Aries. The way in which we express ourselves and how we communicate the world is entering this world of Aries, the pioneering efforts, the new beginnings. So this is a time when we have an opportunity to express some of the ways in which we want to charge forward, some of the ways in which we want to put things in order. And then as we continue on with the day, we have a nice trine energy which comes about, which shows us that eventually our emotions are going to come in nice, good, energetic trine with discipline. And we're going to find a way to take those emotions and discipline those emotions, put them in a place that is much more effective for us in our lives. So just contemplate those things for today, and you'll begin to understand a bit more of how they apply to you, because that is the most important part. Astrology is not a science where you look at it and it's a one-size-fits-all. It is simply an ideas and ways in which energy expresses itself. And as we are all receptors of this energy, we begin to understand more about ourselves as we begin to understand the energies at play around us. Now we move from there to what we see when we look at the sky tonight. We've got our moon right here. Last night this was what we saw when I was looking at it. It was really awesome. Jupiter right here is very close to the moon last night. Tonight it's going to be a little bit further away, so we'll see our moon over here, and off to the right we'll see Jupiter. If we look up above Jupiter, we see Castor and Pollux, the twins, Gemini. Okay. And if we look down below the moon to the left, we see the sign Procyon. Tells us the moon forms a curving arc this evening with Pollux and Castor at its upper right, and Procyon in its lower left. And of course, there's Jupiter. So when you look at the sky, this is what you're going to see. The moon, to the right, Jupiter, to the left, lower left, Procyon, and up above Jupiter here, Castor and Pollux, the twins. Tells us to look southwest high in the sky this evening. Current moon phase is 1/4 full, the first quarter, 53% of the way there, making its way to the full moon. And remember, the moon represents our unconscious mind, where our unconscious mind is at this point in time, how we are expressing it. And our unconscious mind, this part, is making its way to that full phase of full understanding of what we're about. But we still are exploring. In the Mayan Oracle, another way of looking at time and the energy around us, we see that today is a 3-tone day. There are 13 tones. Today is the third of those 13 tones. The third tone is called the electric tone. It's the tone of activation. It's where the energy of the 1 has split itself into the 2, and the 1 and the 2 have found balance with each other. And once they have found the balance, 1 and 2 come together to create the 3, the child, that goes out. It's the activation of the 1 and 2 together that provides service to the world. Service to the world. Not service in the form of a servant, but service to the world as a child of God, as a son and daughter of the creative spirit of life. The energy here in the middle here is the storm. A storm is a gathering of energy. When we look at a storm and we see it, we look at the clouds, we know that there's some sort of activity coming because we can see the signs in the air. How that energy is going to burst forth, well, that all depends upon other factors around it. We see the storm outside, but we also must recognize that these energies are inside us as well. And when we gather together the energies in ourselves, when this storm is brewing, we have the opportunity to determine how and when we're going to put this energy out, in what form. But we must be vigilant, we must be on guard, because there are many opportunities to express this energy into the world. And sometimes when we least expect it, we need to be prepared because there is something that might try to throw us off guard. The sun is the like-minded energy, enlightenment, purification, or the moon is our challenge for today, and the hidden power is spirit, inspiration. The guide for today is the night, which is all about our dreams and abundance, our subconscious mind. We're in this wave spell of the earth, which is the wave spell of synchronicity and navigation. So we're under third place, third position. We're the activation of this energy, of this understanding about the synchronicity of navigation. And as we get in sync with life, we begin to be more in sync with ourselves, for we find that we and life are one and the same. The phrase for today that summarizes all of this is, I activate in order to catalyze bonding energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the electric tone of service. I am guided by the power of abundance. And over here on the Zolkins, you could see where we are. We are in this column right here. I'm sorry, we are down here at the storm. We've got one more day, today and tomorrow, in this column. Then we're going to move to a whole another column right here. Spaceweather.com, our solar wind is currently at 385.0 kilometers per second. Our planetary K index is in the range between the quiet 1 and 3, also quiet. We do have a big coronal hole down here, and that is a pretty good sized coronal hole, and we have one up to the upper left here. Neither one of them is directly facing the Earth at this time. However, the sun does rotate from here all around, from the left to the right, as looking at the picture or the screen. And so as this comes around, these are going to be facing our direction. Will we get hit by any solar wind is to be determined. But this is what we're looking at the moment. Our M-class flare possibilities at 30%, our X-class flare possibilities at 1%, and our geomagnetic storm activity, as we can see, is relatively low at the moment. However, as things evolve, as the sun moves around, things may change. We'll find out. Now, today's numerology, or the number for today, according to the Gregorian calendar that we are looking at is the number 9. Number 9, how do we arrive at the number? This is how. 4 for the month of April, 7 for the day, 2014 for the year. Add them all together. We have a 4 and a 7 and a 7. That equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. 9 is the number of the hermit. The hermit is the last, or the number 9 is the last of the single digits before we become in union with all that is. The hermit is the one who holds the lantern up high for others to see, implying that all of us have the opportunity each and every day to take that which we have learned and share that with others. And as we hold the lantern of illumination high for others, they begin to understand what it is that we also understand. And as we begin to understand that they understand that we understand, there's a bit more of an exchange that goes on, because there's a reciprocity, reciprocal feeling. We're sharing back and forth. Okay? Here are some other things associated with the 9. Helpful, compassionate, aristocratic, sophisticated, charitable. 9s are dealing with Virgo. Virgo is the sign that deals with providing service, assisting, helping, analyzing. But if we look at the flip side, we got the egocentricity, arrogance, self-pity, sentimental. Sometimes if we get in a place where we feel that we have all of this information, our egos can become blown out of proportion. And this is one of the things we need to talk about. Ego would fall into the range of that Aries energy, that Mars energy. Having an ego is not a bad thing, because our ego, part of our will, is what we use when we put forth into the world. But to have that out of check, out of balance, that is not what is good. The way that we are in balance is to remember that we at all times are working in synchronicity with the divine principle, with the God principle of life that flows around us and through us. When we honor and understand that we are working in synchronicity with this as co-creators, we are in balance. But when we take this and understanding to a different place, and we start to realize, or not realize, but to think in a false way that we are doing things of ourselves, our ego gets a bit out of control. And sometimes we need to come back and be humble to realize that we are not doing things of our own accord, that we are doing things in synchronicity with divine spirit, with the greater powers of life around us. And as we go over to the Jewish calendar here, the Hebrew calendar, we see that today is the 7th Nisan. 1 week from today, at night, is the first night, the first Seder of Passover. So for all of those who are going to be celebrating Passover, now is the time to start preparing your mind for that moment, for that time, to understand what the Passover is about. What was passed over. Okay, that is what we've got going on. To get us started, UFO News is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. First story comes to us from Texas. This took place on March 30th, last week. Speeding UFO photobombs, landscape shots. On March 30th, Chris H. and his fiancée took some landscape photos while on a drive in Walter County, Texas. When they looked at their photos afterwards, they noticed that the object in the sky, an orb with a tail, right there. Most interesting looking. We took multiple pictures of this exact same angle, about 2 to 3 minutes, and only one picture had this object in it. At the time the picture was taken, we were focused on the new cows and houses in the picture and didn't see or hear anything. It's a very interesting looking one with a tail like that. Sort of like some sort of animal type tail, doesn't it? Now if we go over to the next one, we go to Lima, Peru on the 4th of April. And what we have here, it says new interesting video footage of a glowing UFO light recorded in the night sky above Lima, Peru. Okay, we have a 6-minute, 49-second video here. Here we go. There we go. They're seeing a couple right out there. There they are. Okay. So very cool. You can hear the people capturing this are very excited about what they're seeing, as understandable. All right, that's over Lima, Peru. Now from there we go to Los Angeles, California. It's at a Fox News broadcast about an earthquake in Los Angeles in March shows a flash in the sky. The footage was uploaded to YouTube on March 1st by user King Uptown. He said in the video that he and his family noticed a strange light in the broadcast and they wanted to open the discussion online as to whether it was a UFO, unusual flash, lightning, or other phenomena. But it disappeared. There he goes. Okay. Nice bright light right there. What is that? It's a 1 minute, 17-second video. Okay, here it goes. It's playing from the beginning, and you'll see. There we go. All right. So what was that? Very interesting. Very interesting. Is that a light from a UFO? Something coming up high? Certainly doesn't seem like anything that's projected from the ground on up. Okay. There we go. Los Angeles, California, last week. Now, from Los Angeles, California, we're going to go up to the surface of Mars, because Mars also had a light that they experienced. Rover's moving along, and in the distance, this is what they see. What could that be? Links to the original sources here. The artificial light source seen this week in the NASA photo, which shows light shining upward from the ground. This could indicate that there is intelligent life below the ground that uses light as we do. This is not a glare from the sun, nor it is an artifact of the photo process. Look closely at the bottom of the light. It has a very flat surface, giving us a 100% indication that it is from the surface. Sure, NASA could go investigate, but hey, they are not on Mars to discover life. They are there to stall its discovery. Okay. Most interesting indeed. Moving from there, we go over to Alabama, April 5th. We've got a series of shots there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 orbs. Possibly a triangle here, or 3 orbs just sitting in triangular formation. My sister called me and told me to hurry outside and see the dozens of lights outside in the sky. She joked that we were being invaded. I went outside my house and couldn't see anything. I live on a mountain and it was cloudy and foggy. She was at my mother's house at 8 to 10 miles away. She pulled in the driveway, got out of the car, and noticed the lights immediately. She said they were moving fast and there were dozens at first. She sent me a pic. If I could see what they were, I have no clue. And now we're going to jump over here to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. They've had a lot of UFO sightings there. Over the years, there have been many UFO accounts across Cape Cod. Perhaps it is the proximity to the water and flat surfaces that make it susceptible to these eyewitness reports. Back in 1964, Warren family, mother, father, and daughter were driving home and saw a large reddish-orange triangular-shaped object flashing above them at the height of 200 to 300 feet. The object, with the appearance of a sail, zigzagged like a boat and then disappeared over Silver Lake. After reporting their sightings to Otis Air Force Base, the family could offer no explanation, but they were very firm on the fact that they saw a UFO. In other earlier accounts, people said that they saw flying saucers in South Wellfleet, flashing UFOs in Hyannis, a ball of fire in Barnstable, and a flying ball seen by a fisherman in Truro. Another account from Chatham described the unidentified flying object as a black blob. In a small article, the UFO was said to be about the size of a basketball and the blazing tail about 100 feet long. Some scientists offered the explanation of meteor showers in the area. Another series of unexplained phenomena was reported in Canterville in the 50s and was seen by 2 local residents. The object was described as traversing the heavens from the west while ascending until it no longer could be seen in the eastern skies. Okay. A bit more to the stories. I'm going to leave that to you. just talk about some other sightings. So something is going on over there over Cape Cod like it is around the rest of the country and the rest of the world. And last, a link for another video to watch. This one is an episode of Hangar 1. Hangar 1 UFO Files, the space weapons. Hangar 1 files reveal that President Ronald Reagan's personal encounters with UFOs may have been the driving force behind the Star Wars Defense Initiative. So check it out. 38-minute episode. You can find out what is going on there, what they have to say. Got Richard Dolan. Alright, that is our UFO news for today. I'll be right back. We got a lot of interesting things to talk about, so don't go too far.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continuing on. Alright. So, some of you have been watching this show for quite some time. I've been on now for over 4.5 years. I started in October 2009. And I've been going strong ever since, 5 days per week. You've heard the format, the way in which the show is done, change over time. After 2012, I really gave a lot of food to thought to the way in which I wanted to present the information on this show. Because prior to that, many of you know, I've been pretty heavy-handed on the conspiracy theories, of which there are many. There's a lot of corruption going on in the world, and it's very easy to get caught up in that, to focus on that. And after 2012, after the December 21st experience, we did cross the ecliptic. We moved into a different place in life. I began to look at things a bit differently. There was a shift that took place with the way I wanted to present the information because it no longer seemed to serve my purpose or the purpose of the show to want to be able to send out any information that was all about these conspiracies. So you've noticed that things have changed, and rather than speaking about such issues 5 days a week, I limit it to 1 day a week, on Mondays usually. So today would be that day. However, you know what? I don't feel like talking about what's going on with the current conspiracies in the world. Because what would I tell you? Today a politician lied? Well, that happens every day. Today there was another banker that lied, or there was another police corruption that took place, or something in the world, another war that took place. See, these things are going on too regular, and for me to bring this to you makes zero sense at all. Yes, I could say I want to keep you informed, and that's very important. There's plenty of links available to go find out and understand about these things. But what we need to understand is that there is a level of corruption that has occurred upon this planet that has really gone to a whole nother level. And we need to begin to understand why is that. Not look at all the specific events that are taking place, but understand something a little deeper about that. Because there seems to be something much more important in life taking place than getting focused on all of the little events. Over the course of this weekend, I saw the movie Noah. Have you seen that movie yet? Pretty fascinating movie. Now, you know the story of Noah from the Bible. Noah was told by God that he needed to build an ark because God was going to destroy the world by a flood because the world had such wickedness in it. That's what you would expect that the movie Noah was about. And to some degree or another it was about that. But there were many things in this movie that were just really, well, I don't know how they got there. For example, as I started watching the movie, and I'm going to tell you what's going on with the movie, so if you don't want to know, close your ears. But in the very first scene of the movie, there's little Noah with Lamech, his father. and they're talking. And then they see running towards them over the hill the bad guys. So Lamech tells Noah to hide. And they show a shot of these bad guys running at them. And one of the first things I looked at is, why is there a transformer in this movie? Why is there a transformer that looks like a pile of rocks running around there? What's up with that? I don't recall that in the Bible at all. And as the story continued on, they came to another scene later where Noah was grown up with his family, and suddenly they were surrounded by all of these rock transformer beings. Again, I don't recall any rock transformers in the Bible, but they were certainly on the big movie screen. And then they revealed that they were angels. Angels who had came down to help Methuselah. But because God was upset that they came down, God turned them into these rock beings. And there they were. Eventually, they came to wanting to help Noah because they saw that he was good and that he was doing some work of God. And so these rock beings helped Noah to build the ark. There were such scenes in the movie at one point where there was one warrior who plunged a sword into the ground, and then all of the ground around exploded as if some sort of bomb went off. Again, how did this happen with a sword? A very bizarre movie. Took many, many, many liberties on the story. And anyone watching the movie who does not have any indication of what the story is about would certainly be well confused, because these events, the things they talked about, really weren't there. It's as if it was thrown together simply to give some sort of cinematic impact, but not necessarily to present anything of a truthful nature at all. And that is why when you check the reviews of people around the world, there's a lot of criticism about this, because those going to see the movie were expecting to see much more, wanting to see much more, because there's that desire inside to understand what is taking place in life. Something is changing. So we can't necessarily look to the Hollywood stories to tell us what's right. Sometimes they're awesome. Son of God, great story. Telling a really great story about Jesus. Noah, by the end of the movie, you don't really feel that there's anything about these characters that is really very redeemable. You're kind of glad the whole journey's over, and there's nothing at the movie that is anyway like a happy ending. Pretty much you're just glad it's over, because characters in there were kind of characters that really just, I don't know, were kind of mean. So we need to be able to look at the truth. We need to understand when we are being shown things that are in a false way. Because there will be many that will go to this movie and they'll see this, not knowing the stories of the Bible, and perhaps take to heart what's going on. And unfortunately, as we live in a world, especially in America, where kids are being dumbed down through lack of education, through the GMOs in the food, through the chemtrails in the air, intelligence isn't like it used to be. And so there are those who are going to see and maybe believe this, or maybe use this as information just to discount that the whole Noah thing ever happened at all. So, if you want to go see the movie for the fun of what the movie's about, hey, it's interesting. You see the big rock transformers running around. You see the magic sword that can blow up the ground. And you see all the other crazy things that take place in there. But let's go and look at the real story of Noah. Let's look at what the Bible has to say. It says Noah, after was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. When humans began to increase in number on earth and daughters were born unto them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with the humans forever, for they are mortal, and their days will be 120. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and afterwards, when the Son of God went with the daughters of the humans and had children with them, these were the heroes of old, the men of renown. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. So the Lord said, I will wipe away from the face of the earth the human race that I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. But Noah has found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and walked faithfully with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people in the earth had corrupted their ways. God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both of them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Make rooms in it and coat it with pitch inside and out. And this is how you build the ark. It's to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Make a roof of it, leaving below the roof an opening on 1 cubit high all around. Put a door on the sides of the ark and make lower and middle and upper decks. I'm going to bring flood waters to the earth to destroy all life under the heavens. But every creature that has breath on life in it, everything on earth will perish. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird, every kind of animal, and every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come to you to be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for them. Noah did as God has commanded. He continues on. I'm going to allow you to read the story here, but at no point in time do you see any rock creatures showing up to help Noah build the ark, as in the movie. So let us flash forward from here to Matthew 24. Matthew 24. Jesus left the temple and was walking away, and his disciples came unto him to call his attention to its buildings. Do you see all these things? He said, truly I tell you, not one stone will be left on another. Everyone will be thrown down. Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives. The disciples came to him privately, and tell us, they said, when will this happen? What will be the sign of your coming and at the end of the age? Jesus answered, watch out that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, claiming, I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places, and all these things are the beginning of birth pains. Then you will be handed over to the persecuted, to be persecuted and put to death. You will be hated by all the nations because of me. At that time many will turn away from the faith and will destroy and hate each other. Many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. So when you see in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation spoken of through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one on the housetop go down to take anything out of the house. Let no one go into the field to get their cloak. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Pray your flight will not take place in the winter or in the Sabbath, for then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world. If in those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. At the time, if anyone says to the Lord, look, here is the Messiah, or there he is, do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you ahead of time. So if anyone tells you, there he is out there in the wilderness, do not go out. Here he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even to the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Whenever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in the heaven, when all the peoples of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at your door. Truly, I tell you that this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. But the hour and the day no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. This is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken, the other left. 2 women will be grinding at the handmill, one will be taken, the other left. Therefore keep watch, because you do not understand on what day the Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch, and would not have left his house be broken into. So you must also be ready, because the Son of Man will come in an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is the faithful and the wise servant, whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give to them food at the proper time? Will it be good that the servant whose master finds him doing when he returns? Truly I tell you, he will put him in charge of all of his possessions. But suppose that the servant is wicked and says to himself, my master is staying away a long time, and then he begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with drunkards. The master of the servant will come a day when he does not expect him, and at the hour he is not aware. He will cut him to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So, as in the days of Noah, those are the important words here, because we just saw the movie Noah. I just talked about it. It's on the big screens. We are in the days of Noah, are we not? And there is wickedness all around in this world, is there not? We can see it everywhere. We read it in the papers. We hear it on the news. It is projected over and over and over as fear into the world. We've learned and we are understanding that consciousness, the mind of the great creator, spirit, the all, is everywhere. And that we have continual communication with this conscious mind. We have an opportunity every given moment to determine where our consciousness is going to go. We can go the path of wickedness, or we can go the path of righteousness. Righteousness, break it down, is right useness of the energy of life. So here we are at a crossroads. Wickedness around, the days of Noah are here, and we are told to be watchful so we are not being deceived. And in this day and age, is there not a lot of opportunity to be deceived? There certainly is. If we turn on the news, we are deceived by what they say, because corporations have taken control of the media. If we listen to the politicians, we become deceived by what they say because they have their own agendas. If we listen to what is going on with the local communities and the police and the local caretakers, we see corruption amongst their ranks as well, and on and on and on. And all of this has bled and made its way into the average household, where on a daily basis you hear good men and women making excuses for why there is all this badness, why there is corruption, why these lies are happening. Over and over and over, excuses are made. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm tired of hearing excuses on why all this evil should be allowed to exist in the world. It only exists because man allows it to exist. And by man, I say conscious mind. Our conscious mind allows this evil to exist in the world. We make excuses for why it should be there, excuses for why we can't remove it. And therefore, we push our faith aside in order to believe that these evils need to necessarily be there. They don't need to be there. What do they serve except to weaken life, weaken the spirit, weaken who we and what we are about? Yet we are all here to partake and be one with the great creator of life, to understand and be part of this divinity that is life. That is what we were created to be, as an expression of the creator. And within that expression is not evil, it's not corruption, it's not deceit. So we need to turn away from all of those things at this time. We have a choice. There are 2 paths we can go by. We can look the path of evilness, and we can walk that path of the wickedness. And there are many walking that path, and many will encourage you to walk that path. Or we could walk the narrow path. And unfortunately, there are fewer walking that path because it's too easy to get caught up in this material world with all of the trappings. But we need to really be faithful. And there is a confusion about what faith is. Faith is not some blind allegiance to something. Faith is an absolute knowingness that what is before you is a path set forth by the Creator. And that if we truly believe that which is there, if we truly believe the words of Jesus, that when we ask we shall receive, then we truly understand that we have an opportunity to walk the path of righteousness, to use rightly that which the Creator has put in our way. And when we understand that, we leave the path of wickedness, because wickedness is only because of fear, fearfulness that there will not be enough. So we go and fight for the jobs, fearfulness that things aren't going to go our way, so laws are created, fearfulness that someone will have more than we do, so we go on and create wars to take from them. And all this fear is infecting the whole world in a negative manner. So as in the days of Noah, we are in a place of high corruption, high wickedness. The choice is, what are you going to do? Which way are you going to go? Are you going to walk the path of righteousness, or are you going to join everyone on the path of wickedness? That's a choice we all need to make. We all need to consider each and every day, because the moment is at hand. The moment is at hand when your soul is what is at stake. And we need to understand that if we want our soul, if we want to move the path we need to move, we need to accept the divine path that God has put before us, the great Creator of life. Not to listen to the ways and the corruptions of men, because that is all that they are. Do not be deceived. That is the important thing. We must not be deceived. And we are told over and over words to not be deceived. So let us be smart. Let us be smart that we are not deceived in this world. Let us be smart that we understand our connection to divinity. Let us be smart that we rise above all of the corruptions and the wickedness. That we rise above and we stand in the consciousness of Christ, the consciousness of the creative spirit of life. And in that manner, we will shine in ways beyond our wildest imagination. So, that is where we're at, my friends. Let's move on to this article here. It says in 5D by Verlaine Crawford. It says, we are star seeds born from the universe. Our everyday lives are taking care of our families. Working, commuting, and sometimes playing can often seem redundant and boring. We begin to wonder, is this all that there is? We may develop a feeling that something is missing. There must be more to life. Perhaps you are one of the many people who have experiences that defy certain scientific explanations, such as a near-death experience, intuitive guidance, or the kind of knowing about people and events. You feel that there is much more to who you are. It is true that you are more than your body, your mind, and your emotion. You are something far greater. You are a being of light. Everything we see, hear, touch, and feel, or even our thoughts and concepts are actually patterns of energy that form what we consider to be reality. Our minds are designed to arrange energy patterns of light into forms that we can recognize as trees, rocks, animals, fish, fowl, people. Unconsciously, the pattern identifiers in our brains arrange this energy into a real three-dimensional world. We have added senses, natural instincts, intuition, telepathy, healing energy, imagination, faith, hope, love that cannot be chartered but are far beyond the normal sensual capabilities that we use in everyday work and play. Here's a quote by Tesla that says, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Is this not what we are talking about when I read from the Kabbalion? The idea of the mind is all. We're learning that as well. And then the lessons we are learning from the life and the teachings of the masters of the Far East about how to rise and understand these very principles of energy. Why are the creation mechanism and the size of the Why are the creation mechanism and size of the cosmos meaningful for you? How can you compare to such a vast universe? Mankind is in a unique position. We have been blessed with minds that are capable of learning about the smallest element of the visual and invisible worlds. And we are able to study the large swirling masses of stars and galaxies. Through this greater understanding, we begin to realize that we are more than limited beings on one small planet, attached to an average-sized star located in the outer spiral of the mid-sized galaxy. By becoming aware of this awe-inspiring expansiveness, makeup, and timing of the universe, you will gain a wider vision of who you are, and you can begin to catch a glimpse of the infinite creative consciousness that is still creating with and around you. We are like a drop of water in the ocean that can be separate and at the same time is made up of the same substance of the sea. You are a star seed. You are composed of the substance of the stars and the vibrational frequencies that flow through the universe. And what is beyond all of this wonderful manifestation? It is a universal consciousness that permeates all things and moves through all beings. This universal consciousness lives in you, breathes through you. And you open your secret awareness, you will know that the universe is within you. You will have access to all the knowledge, understanding, and all of the universal love that ever has been or ever will be. And as we go down here, we look at their last. It says, it is our job to stand firm in the light and shine. Take the time to meditate, to quiet your mind, to strengthen your connection to the universal consciousness. By clearing and raising your energy patterns, you will access your strengths and your capabilities. Your renewed awareness will help you lift up humanity to a higher level of understanding. Allow yourself to represent the divine energy of creation. Receive inspiration and become an unlimited representative of love, peace, and prosperity for the world. As you can see, there is much more to this article, but you get the gist of where it's going. I'm going to leave the rest for you to read. Again, it is just a confirmation over and over. We are not of this earth. We are simply living here at the moment. We are not of the wickedness. That is the deception. We are of the light. We are of the truth. So when we stand upon that truth, all these things are revealed unto us. Who we are, where we're from, what we're about. It's pretty simple when you look at it. We just get confused by all of the convoluted stories that take us away from the true destiny of where we're supposed to be going. Here is a message I want to play to you. This is a channeled message today from Bashar. I played some of his before. This one I thought was really interesting, and let me get to it. I think you're going to like this one. There we go.
Shivai Bashar.
And to you, Shivai.
Greetings, old friend. During our last interaction, my question to you was about our government, and you
Yes,
said
we talked about the idea of the difference between a republic and a democracy. Yes.
No, but you said we are.
You
our
are
government.
You are your
Well,
government.
Our government appears to be. My question is in several parts.
Yes.
Having to do with the Illuminati bankers and the fact that it appears very clear at this point, with no doubt, that there are forces that have seized control that are out to kill large numbers of people.
Stop. One of the other things in terms of information that will no longer be coming through this terminal will be the support of fearful theories.
It's not a theory.
Stop. What we are saying is, we understand that people like you're describing exist. We understand that people on your planet have those kinds of intentions. But the point we made is that you all put them there. So if you don't want them there, remove them. Empower yourselves to empower them to be true people and not people acting out of fear. And remember, again, there is no just one world. You are constantly shifting to different parallel realities. So whatever vibrational state you choose to be in is going to ultimately be the parallel earth you will experience. If you keep focusing on the idea of those who are trying to control and focusing on the ideas of fear, that will be the kind of world you will experience. But at the very same time, the people that focus on the idea of self-empowerment will ultimately, at the same time, experience another parallel Earth where no such people exist.
Well, isn't everybody in this room experiencing the same reality at
No,
this time?
that's the point that you're missing. They're not. You are experiencing similar realities by agreement, but they're actually not the same.
So is there people in this room that don't have any clue and won't be affected at all by the FEMA camps, the 78 million coffins that our government has already ordered?
There are those that will be affected by it because they choose to live in fear. There are those that will never see it because they don't. It's that literal.
Can you share with us if the population of the planet is going to be significantly reduced?
Which planet?
Earth.
Which Earth?
This current reality.
You're missing the point. You are shifting from parallel reality to parallel reality billions of times per second. Decide what reality you prefer. Some Earths will be depopulated. Some won't. Any variation of this idea that you can imagine is real. Shift to the one you prefer. They're all real. Shift to the one you prefer. Period. You understand? They're all real. Shift to the one you prefer.
Yes and no. I understand what you're saying.
No, you obviously don't.
You're right. I mean, I don't, because I wish I knew how to shift to a world where
you are shifting. You are always shifting. The way you shift to the world you prefer with the energy you prefer is to be that energy yourself first and stop buying into the ideas of fear.
But I try and look at reality of the world around me and interpret it.
You are forgetting what we talked about in the sense that every single thing is fundamentally neutral and has no built-in meaning. It doesn't matter how it looks. Remember, the measure of the fact that you have changed is not based on whether the outside changes. It's based on whether your response to the outside changes, regardless if it looks the same. That's how you know you will not be affected by anything you don't prefer to be affected by. Because that's the energy state you've created, and it doesn't matter how it looks, and it doesn't matter what anyone else's intention is toward you. You cannot be affected by someone's intention until you believe you can be or choose to be.
So are there people in this reality right now that, just looking back to the past, were not affected and didn't have a negative result from all the actions that have been taken so far?
Yes. Wrap your mind around it. Thank you.
Okay. There are multiple paths, my friends. The choice is ours where we're going to look. I've told you where I'm taking this show and where we're going to look. No interest in looking the other way. Only want to look towards the future, towards the positivity. That's the world I want to live in. And I know that you also want to be in that world. So let's focus on that 100%. And we'll let the corruption deal with itself in another place, another reality. Let's go on to our meditation for today. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath, and exhale again. I want you to imagine yourself walking along a path. And you come to a fork in the road. And you look at that fork in the road and you see one path paved in gold. And you have one path that is just dirt, a dirt road. And you look at these two and you are not sure which way to go. And as you look down the road, you see the path of the gold leads to what looks like a city. And all sorts of technology going on down there. And you see many, many, many people. And you feel enticed to want to go that path. Because you feel that because all the people are there, that is maybe where you should be. But then you look at the other path. and you see that there are fewer people walking it. That is a path that is a simple, calm path. And you look at the other path and you see that even though there is all this technology and all these people, you also feel the fighting and the aggression, the wickedness and corruption. And you choose the path, the simple path, the dirt path, and you walk. And you take this path of nature, and as you walk forward in life, you feel yourself strengthened because you understand that you are using rightly the energy of the universe, the energy in following the path. And as you walk away, the other path completely fades from your mind until you no longer see it and you realize that you create your own reality. You walk the path according to that which is where your consciousness resides. And as you walk this path, you come over a hill and you begin to see this beautiful, lush valley. The true abundance of the universe is there available for you. There are no lies, there is no corruption or deceit. There is only truth, spirit, and love. And as you walk forward on that path, as you feel inspired by this inspiration you received is strong enough to go and reach out to the minds of others so that they decide to follow you upon this path. And as they join you, they also see that that which they were following is just an illusion. So we imagine ourselves walking around the world, walking this path of life, the simple path, but the abundant righteous path. As we walk through life and continue to walk, we imagine from our heart chakra sending out love into the world, love and light into the world. And we think of the phrase, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things are given unto you. And we know that the kingdom of heaven is the consciousness of our mind that we get to when we allow ourselves to rise above all corruptions and wickedness, to see the true divinity of who we are, to see ourselves as sons and daughters of God, to accept our true inheritance upon this planet, and to be that which the great Creator created to be. So we go forth in thanks and praise, thankfulness for who we have become, thankfulness for our creation, and praise to the great Creator for putting us in an opportunity to learn and to grow. For we understand that even though there was wickedness, it is a lesson that we learned. We understand that when we separated in duality and began to look at the different options, we confused ourselves. And in that confusion, just we're on a downward spiral. But as we walk this path of life, of nature, of truth and righteousness, we realize that our spiraling has ended and that we have come back to where we need to be. And through our actions, through our words, through our simple walking upon this path, others are inspired to join us, until the path least taken becomes the path that all are walking upon. So let us all imagine now us walking upon this path. Let us all walk together hand in hand in love, in light, in celebration of perfection and harmony upon this planet Earth. And just think of the word love and imagine the word love all around the planet. Imagine the word peace and harmony, beauty, perfection. Allow these words to absorb into your being and to continue to fill the world with their positive energy. So let our subconscious mind continue on that journey. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment, to this moment of righteousness, of walking along the path of truth. And let us do so on the count of three. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. And that's it, my friends, as we walk this path, as we understand that in this conscious place we bring that which we envision into reality, that conscious and unconscious become one and the same. It's like a prayer, bringing our hands together. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today. Make the choice to walk the right path, the path of righteousness. Turn away from the wickedness. We've had far too much of on this planet. Far too much. And I know that you're tired of it as much as I am. But I also know that we can change and make a difference right here, right now, by the decisions we make. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. You have an awesome day. Love and light to each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.